My name is Tracy Wentz. I am the department chair for the AEF Auxiliary Emergency Fund. Who in the room knows what the AEF is? Some of us had to learn it the hard way, unfortunately. And that's why it's very passionate for me, because I didn't know it existed until last year. And unfortunately, with the way that the weather has been lately, there's a lot of people experiencing. So this is the AEF, and it is also our department. It is also our department president's special project, the AEF Disaster Fund. Okay. So I'm going to start off. The AEF is split up into two different grants. Okay. There's one that is for hardship, and then there's the disaster fund. So the basic criteria to start with is you need to be a member for 3 years. 2 prior and the consecutive. It's very important that we understand that, because when these disasters are hitting, when people are filling out the applications, they've had a break, or they're new, or whatever it may be. So the understanding, it is 3 consecutive years in order to qualify for either grant. Okay? So first I'm going to touch base on the first one, which is called the temporary hardship grant. And this is the criteria for the temporary hardship. An auxiliary emergency fund grant may provide temporary assistance to eligible American Legion Auxiliary members during a time of financial crisis when no other source of aid is readily available to pay for past due expenses to their primary residence or for basic household utilities. Grants may be awarded up to $3,000. Now, they did change that, because prior it was $2,600. So because of the cost of living and understanding that things are not cheap anymore, they did raise that to $3,000. So that is a good thing. The reason I was reading that is because a temporary hardship is a temporary hardship. It means that something has caused for that, whether it be loss of employment, loss of a spouse. There's different things. It doesn't mean that you failed to pay your bills and now you need help. You know what I mean? Like, there is a difference. Hardship is a hardship. I just need people to understand that, because when we get calls of certain things, and I have to explain that that's not a hardship. You know, I want everybody to understand that. Does anybody have any questions as far as the hardship?
When you say lost a spouse, for example, if a woman needs money to pay for the funeral of her husband, she says she has no money. Is that considered that?
That's a lot. Was her husband working? You know what I mean? Was he bringing in income?
I don't know exactly. I'm trying to learn this. It's one of the ladies is asking for money for.
And then there's steps with the hardship. Okay, there are steps that you need to go through to apply for the hardship. And I will go over the application with it, but there's steps to it. So, as far as for the hardship, and I'm going to use this as an example. Family working, spouse, one loses their job, you know, medical reason, what have it may be. And then, you know, they need help with their electric or and things like that. So how it's designed is, and not every unit does have a emergency fund set up. I'm not here to say you need to do that. I know for our unit, and I'm going to use our unit 136 in Jane City, we have where if one of our auxiliary members has a hardship, we have a 250.
We just raised it to 500, we raised it to 500.
Yeah, so we have the 250, have 500. So the first step would be for that member to, some people don't like people knowing their business, so that's a conversation with your unit president, okay? And that's a conversation that you would have, but then that would go to general membership, and then that usually gets voted on whether it would pass or not. So that would be the first step, because it does ask in the application if the unit has helped you. It does ask that. So when the unit has helped, then the next step is the application. And it's done online. I'm sorry I did not print applications out for everybody, but it is online. You can go to alafl.org, and if you go to quick links and you go to AEF, in the drop down where the program is, I've listed those websites that you can go to. And on here, there's so many different links. I'll give you the exact link then in a minute. Okay, so it does give you a checklist. One thing I am also going to say, when you get to the application process for either the temporary hardship or the disaster, you must fill these applications out in its entirety and provide the documentation that it asks. I will tell you, with us going through it last year, there was a lot of members that didn't get the grants because they didn't fill out the application or provide the information. Okay, so it's really, really, really important that you fill it out in its entirety and provide the documentation. They do reach out to you and say, hey, we need this, 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 but you only have a certain amount of time. I think it's usually 10 days.
So if you lost all of your documentation, what would happen then? You know what I'm saying? Like
When
you lost
we
it.
go through the disaster, this is just the temporary hardship for now.
Okay.
It will ask, so let me go through just the temporary hardship, because when we go through the disaster, they've made that one a little more easier for that simple fact of, we got hit with it, we know, loss of documentation.
Good question.
So they'll ask for name, address, primary residence, all the information. Now, real quick, this is the temporary hardship, but it also has the disaster information on there. And this is important to know. If you are hit with a disaster, you can apply for both. You can apply for both. And one is $1,200, and like I said, they just upped. The department went to $3,000.
There was a time limit on that, right?
There is, that's for the disaster. Yeah, we're going over the hardship. So, but if there is a disaster, it is on the hardship application. I don't want anybody to say, oh, well, there's that information on it. So it is on it. And you can apply for both at that point.
Am I right, medical, debit cards or that kind of deal is not considered a hardship?
A reoccurring medical bill.
Well, maybe like they had a credit card, they do not pay.
They do not pay credit cards, and they do not pay reoccurring medical bills. Also, for temporary hardship, they do not pay you as the member. So if hardship and you need to apply for this, say your electric, you need help with your electric. You submit your application and your form and your documentation, and if approved, you will then supply them that the electric bill, and they will pay that electric bill. Okay, they're not going to send you the funds for the hardship. I just want to clarify that, for the hardship. If approved, they will pay to the vendor, or, you know, say you're getting an apartment and you need help with your security deposit. They will pay that. They do not pay the member. Okay? I need to clarify that too, because that's been another question. Members thought that they were getting the funds. No. They will help pay that benefit. Okay? It will go and it will ask for your living expenses. It will ask for information. Again, this is a hardship. You need to be able to prove that you are having a hardship. Okay? And then that would get sent over to AEF at ALA for veterans.org. Or if you don't have email, the mailing address would be ALA National Headquarters, attention AEF, 3450 Founders Road, Indianapolis. And again, this is all on the website, all the information. Okay?
If you
Sure.
keep the AEL in your unit, how do you report that?
As far as
Yeah, you know, when we send money in for the AEL fund, we got the big.
the
sheet.
remittance form,
Yeah, but if
That
we
would
keep
be-
it in our unit, how do we have to report it or what?
no, not in the unit, because you would have your standing rules and bylaws for that.
Okay.
That's what's in your standing rules and bylaws. So that allows your unit to be able to help as far as, yes,
Okay.
yes, you don't have to report that.
Okay.
Anything that you send to department, that we would want to send a remittance form for, to show that, you know, you contributed to that project. And like I said, Department D, or Department President D, her special project is the AEF disaster fund this year. Okay? Any questions about the hardship? Okay, let's move over to the disaster, because that is her special project. And that hit home last year, that hit home for a bunch of us. Again, like I said, I didn't know what AEF was until I was faced with reality. I live in St. James City on Pine Island, and we were hit with what I can call now a Category 5 hurricane, Hurricane Ian. And it rocked our community. Lots of homes lost, lots of flooding. When they talked about storm surge, we all were like, what storm surge? Well, we found out the hard way. So I was contacted, and they showed up with these applications, and it's like, oh, well, what is that? What is that? So what it is when a disaster hits, the state of Florida has this amazing grant that has helped so many. And they made it really easy to apply because, like mentioned, what about your documentations? Hardship is really different. The state of Florida jumped in, kicked in, and helped. I know you guys are from all over, but let me tell you, the state of Florida was there. They were there. And that's why AEF means so much to me, because they help us. So what does the grant do? With a natural disaster, let me quick ask this, because I've been asked, what are natural disasters? on, it has other, so I'm still trying to figure out what the other is. Because those in itself are enough of a disaster. So when something like that happens, and it's declared a disaster, you as a member having 3 years have the right to apply for the grant. And like I said, both of them.
You said 3 years.
You must be a member 3 years.
Oh, I thought you said you had time to apply for 3 years.
No,
That's
nope.
6
Oh,
months.
no, it's, yep, 6 months. So, please, you only have 6 months from the date of the disaster to apply. I've gotten many, and the hurricane was a year ago from Ian. People who are calling asking if they could still apply for it because they felt that other people needed it prior. Let me tell you, 6 months, they will not accept it. If you need to apply for the fund and the grant, please do so. Please, don't wait, because then it may be too late. Okay?
And what's the total amount of the disaster fund?
So, when you apply for the disaster fund, you can apply for the temporary hardship one, which is $3,000, and then the other one is $1,200. Before it was $2,600 and $1,200. Now, with those funds, when it is declared a disaster, those funds, if approved, the member will get that. That is to help you for whatever it is that you need. In our case,
How much is it for the disaster?
3,000.
And then hardship is?
The hardship is that's the big one. That's 3,000.
Hardship is at 3,000?
Yes, department is 1,200. Questions? Okay. So when that happens, you can apply for both of them, and then the member, like I said, will get those funds, because you need them. You need, like us, we needed clothing, we needed gas, we needed generators, we needed things to survive. So in that case, there's the difference. Okay?
About how long does it take from when you apply to get that?
Well, it depends. It depends on if you submit all the documentation, and on here, they did make it simple. Again, we've learned from last year, we've grown from that, which is fantastic. I am truly excited about this application, because the application before, we had to submit documentation. Well, when you have 4 feet of water and you lose that documentation, how can you do that? So it did make it difficult. And not only that, when you're going through a disaster and a crisis, do I really want to give my bank information out? It was, they looked at that and they considered the trauma that people are already going through. So this application, when they showed me this, I was like, yes, ring that bell. It's very, very simple application. It is basic information, whether you've lost information, payment information, because they can do direct deposit, and then a scenario of what took place and what happened, and then if you had any emergency expenses, and signed, and they ask for pictures, so they will ask for a copy of your driver's license. They will do that because you have to be a primary resident of Florida. You have to be a primary resident of Florida. So they will require that. And this year, instead of supplying, again, documentation, they ask for photos. Attach photos of the damage, whatever it may be, the flooding, wind, tornado, whatever it may be, you submit that, and then usually I want to say within about 2 weeks, depending on how many applications are processed. Again, it depends on how many applications are submitted. Usually it takes about 2 weeks, and then they will send you an email. So make sure that you supply your phone number and your email. And then that's when they will ask you for your driver's license and I know they asked me for a picture of a blank check, so that way they could direct deposit. And the funds were direct deposit, and the account was approved. Very simple, very easy. Again, this was thrilling to me. It was very exciting. There was a lot of grants that were given out last year. This year, Adelia has hit, so we've had that processing. I know with the rains and the storms, it has been crazy. Please don't be afraid. I know people will say, I don't need it. There's other people worse off. There's so many different scenarios. If you have a need, call us. If you have questions, call us. Call me. Email me. I'm always available. Always. Does anybody have any questions about as far as the applications, the process, the forms?
I have a question. Isn't there also a national auxiliary emergency fund?
That's this one. The $1,200 one.
$1,200 one? That's considered national
National.
disaster.
Yes. The 3,000 is the department.
The department.
That's why, and let me not forget this. If you do apply for either of the grants or of the disaster hits and you apply for both of them, you can only apply once a year. There's a 12-month period in between those.
Does income affect what they will give you?
No. If you're applying for the hardship, obviously your
It
income
might.
would come into play. You have to have all that information.
But for the disaster?
For the disaster, they do, I mean, again, last year, they learned from that. People did not want to apply because they're already going through enough trauma, disaster in itself, and to have to sit there and figure out, what did they get from FEMA? What did they get from insurance? What is their income? What is their checking? What is their savings? I'm sorry, but there's, when there's a disaster, there's so many people out there scamming. I'll be the first to say, I'm not giving that information out.
So they did away with all of that?
So they did do away with that, yes. And that, I can pass these around. I didn't print them out, but you can take a look at them.
If that changes our first reading,
Yes, the $3,000 did change. That national just announced that that was changed.
because I printed out the ones that we had from the first meeting.
Yep, those are different. Like I said, there was talks about it, but it was not until we just had our quarterly Zoom meeting is when they actually announced it, and then they updated the website. They updated the website. Again, I printed some pictures out. Natural disaster, roofs,
Is it your house?
hurricanes,
Is this your house?
tornadoes. These are the types of things that are disaster.
Very nasty, yeah.
Now, let's talk about fundraising. Fundraising is fun. That's what we do best, right? The auxiliary always rocks it. I'm sorry. I know in our unit, we always take it to the next level when we can. For our unit, what we decided this year is the girls wanted to do a bakeless bake sale. Who knows what a bakeless bake sale is?
By Publix.
A bakeless bake sale. So what a bakeless bake sale is there's There's no baking involved. None. You write up a letter. It's like a solicit letter. Our girls put cakes and all kinds of real cute stuff on it. And created a letter to send to each one of our auxiliary members stating that due to the fact that the hurricane hit us, and there's a lot of our members from our unit that received that money. So they decided that they wanted to give back. So in the letter, it basically explained what had happened, why we were raising funds for the AEF for Madam D special project, and we mailed it out. That was it. Now it's the fun part when the checks come in. So we started that, and in 2 months, we raised $5,000 already. Wow. Nice. Over $5,000. And the girls decided that they wanted to run the big mistake sale till March. And they upped it to $10,000. Wow. So their goal for our unit is to raise $10,000 just through sending a letter to our 616. But you don't have to do it to just your auxiliary members. Open it up to your Legion family. Open it up to your family. We stuck them in their boxes. And it was like, give us money. Some other ideas. This is one of the templates that's on the AEF under my programs. Crinkle scans. You can print this out, wrap it around a crinkle scan. And every meeting that we have every month, we pass that can around. Yep, every month we pass that can around and raise, I want to say each meeting so far, it's been about $40, $50 each meeting. And we usually have like 12, 13 members. So.
I've always had a little payment passed around, but I've never made anything good more than $10.
Maybe sometimes when you know what I mean, like when they actually see the visual.
They might have
We made those last year.
Oh, okay. Okay. What other ideas?
I would challenge, the unit and the district that every time you come to a meeting, you put $1 in. Everybody can afford $1, you give up 1 pop, 1 candy bar, or 1 cigarette. So that's not a hardship on anybody. If you've got 18 members, so we had 10 left, then you don't make money on it, then nobody's out at all.
Yes.
That's a good idea.
50/50.
No?
Our unit automatically put aside $1 for every member, so we've got about 650 members. What
Okay.
we've done in the last couple of years, 2 years ago, we had a member that was with wrestling insurance with our bartender. Obviously, no health insurance because she's a bartender. The large benefit for her, and the auxiliary gave $650 of what we took to our auxiliary emergency fund because we found it to be better and easier for her to do it that way and filling out all the applications. And it would take maybe up to 18 months to get a hardship or anything else for her.
I don't know, about 72 members.
Last year,
Yeah.
when the disaster hit with the hurricane, we had 3 ladies that lost everything. So we took the fund and we divided it between 3 and paid the ladies a little bit of something. But we did that in lieu of sending it to the department and we taking care of our members.
But know that Florida is here. And those grants are there for that purpose. They are there to help our members.
And I think at the time, the girls were aware of a new disaster being filed within 6 months, or they would have done it, because some of them would find out for 6 months. So it was a good thing.
Well, please make sure to pass that information on because it is very important. Very important.
We also do a once a year Christmas gifting, and we have everybody just bring in maybe about a gift you didn't like, and
we have a guest.
Yes.
Madam
May we approach Tracy?
You may.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2023 Bells in Service Fall Conference. I hope everyone brought their bells with them, and I hope you're ready for a weekend of fun-filled fellowship, learning, and being inspired. I'd like to thank you, each and every one of you, for your membership in our awesome organization. And I thank you for working the mission. It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you our distinguished guest committee, past National President Janet Duffer, past Department President Linda Teasley, and I am honored to introduce to you our National President, Lisa Williamson.
Jump in.
You're very welcome.
Thanks,
Thank you.
we're just going to be here for a short bit. I want to thank you first of all for having me. Thank you for the lovely weather. But I'm sure it'll clear up eventually. I'm actually enjoying myself. I got to go to Tampa first and spend a day with my daughter, and that's something very important to me is family. So my kids both were raised in this organization, and then later my son joined the Air Guard, and so and then I met my husband. So it's all a family affair here for us, my immediate family, as well as it's built out into the Legion family. This year, many of you know that my focus is on military and veteran suicide, and I'm embracing the Be the One mission that the Legion has. And our national commander for the Legion, Nancy Hafer, as well as the Sons of the American Legion, J.R. Hall, is also focusing on Be the One. So collectively, the three of us, as a family, are working together to destigmatize getting mental health help. I think that's critical in what we do. Now, when it comes to AEF, I want to twist this a little bit around. I really enjoyed when I was AEF chairman at National. A lot of fun. I love fundraising. So I think that that's the big thing of AEF, and find different ways to fundraise. So here is where the movers and shakers of our finances tend to be, is within AEF, because it's a fundraising element. When I first got it, I was like, oh my God, and I had a blast with AEF. And remember that AEF now is $3,000, and we can help our family. We can help that Legion family collectively. So I am very appreciative to be here. Thank you very much, Madam President, and of course Janet and Linda for helping me maneuver the different rooms that you have your meeting. We have a meet and greet at 5 o'clock, I believe, and I would love to get you one of my pins. And I thank you very much. Let me end it with 3 words. Be the one.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so back to fundraising.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you. Anybody else have any other ideas?
Let me tell you one. Can I tell you one?
Yeah.
Super easy one. Who has a deck of cards in their desk drawer or in their drawer, their junk drawer? So what we do this at our department conventions, and we raise good money. And I've gone through, in a night, I can go through 4 or 5 decks of cards. So you take the deck of cards, you spread them out, you have someone give you 10 or 20 bucks, whatever you figure. They pick one and you tear it in half. One half goes into a hat, one half goes to the member. Once they sell all 52 cards, we pull one member, they get half the pot, the other one to AEF.
Yeah.
Super easy.
Thank you.
You can do $10. Well, we would start with 20, and then as people started getting bored with it, we drop it down to 10. So anyway, super easy. Everybody has a deck of cards that's sitting there doing nothing.
Easier than raffle tickets.
Our
We do that up north.
allows us to sell desserts. So
You know, those are
I just
easy
want
goals.
John to get down just to know.
I love that idea with the cards. I really do like that idea with the cards.
But we started getting about lucky 13 with cards.
Trying to get 10 on the right.
And it's
We
more
never
than
got
just
20.
man to know what our club is. You have a table of four, and you get 13 cards. It's kind of like bingo. Before you start, you got a cup, and everybody puts a quarter in. And then they call it out, and if you get rid of your 13 cards first, you get the quarters in the whole room. Everybody's quarters, so they're taking money home. We're not making any money. Then we do that for 4 games, and then 50-cent game, 4 quarter games, 50-cent, $1 game. So for $4, you can play several hours. But a couple of them, including my son, was sitting there and never getting rid of a card, so he decided to make a side bet, and you can buy a flag for $1, saying that you got the loudest hand, and you'll be the last one to have your first card called. And that, people really jumped in, and that again goes for all the members. We don't get that money, but we share the wealth, where we do a 50-50, and we keep $50, and we divide it by 4, so everybody gets to take some money home. And we make our money on our food, we open our kitchen for it, and we're getting a good crowd. We've been doing it now for about 4 months. And we divide it between the sons and auxiliary, and we've already reached our first 500 goal for this last year. And we haven't decided where the next one goes. We sell them out, and the money comes in. So we make from $150 to $200 a Sunday.
That's good. That's really good. Anybody else? Come on, it's the auxiliary. You guys have to have ideas. What do you do to make money?
I like the cards.
Yeah.
I thought that.
That is a great idea.
They do that up
What
north.
is your unit do to raise money?
They do it up north.
All sorts of things. We just had a craft
Easy.
sale. The riders had a poker run. I mean, we do things all the time. I'm the 50-50 queen. I take the money. They see me coming, they just take their money out.
Yeah. They all like that 50-50. I mean, if we're not doing it, some of them will walk up and say, who's got the 50-50?
Yeah.
Because they all love to do it.
And a lot of them, in our place, a lot of people that do hit a 50-50, like on some nights, will donate it back.
I was just going to say that our post, we are one of the larger ones, so this might not work for the smaller ones, but we have a boutique where we have T-shirts, hats, and we handle the sales of hats, Legion paraphernalia for the regular American Legion, the auxiliary, and the Sons. We have it all, and when you walk in, it's like a little shop. And we make a lot of money with that.
Good, good. That's a great idea.
Baskets are always good too.
Baskets are always good. And do you do a basket raffle or like a silent auction? Raffle?
And you said a raffle, at one of our district meetings, they had a raffle, and they put a $50 bill, and it was scratch-offs. And that brought in a lot of money. It is picture frame.
Scratch-offs. And scratch-offs do have an appealing, and then when you put money into it, that throws it even better. What do you guys do at your units too? Bingo?
That is bar bingo.
Bar bingo?
And it's huge. I mean, it really is huge. We bring in an awful lot of money.
So what does bar bingo consist of?
Well, usually it's $1 a hand.
Okay.
You go around, you give 5 cards.
It's like
I mean,
Bangle.
you're using more than one deck.
Okay.
So you give 5 cards, and they turn them up, and you play it just like bingo. And, I mean, if you're using more than one deck, you can have maybe 3 of hearts or something, so you get, that's extra treat for you. And jokers are wild, but we make a lot of money. I mean, we're only a small post, but we make a lot of money with that.
That's bingo at the VFW.
VFW here.
Okay.
That's what it is. And it is very popular.
Yeah.
Where they give you a
And you
sheet
do
of what
enjoy it.
you can do, and you play it by yourself.
Where does our
You
money
buy
go
those
for
cards,
shopping?
and they have, each month they have different sheets that you can pick up. And what's on your cards, you put it all by yourself. I've done that at a couple of, we don't do it, but I've done it at.
I have something better called Show Me the Meat.
Show you the meat?
We play with we give out meat
Okay,
instead of money, and they love it on a Tuesday night. We do that.
that's an interesting idea.
The meat raffle, it's like.
We're here.
Instead of money, you give meat away.
That is the biggest thing on the,
Meat raffles up.
The meat raffle.
big.
And they buy the meat from the town.
Somebody sharing an idea?
And, you know, like everybody says, those scratch-off tickets we probably made over $300 on that lottery hat. We just did one, we did a turkey hat, I think yesterday for Thanksgiving. And we're gonna be doing a Christmas hat, but we found out that doing these lottery hats brings in much more than what our basket raffle can bring in or anything else. Now, if we get lucky, you know, that brings in more than a 50-50. Another thing that we do is we do the deck of cards, and we'll have just a nice bottle of liquor. I can go through 3 decks of cards and make $300 on a $30 bottle of liquor. Or even a $10 bottle of wine. You make big bucks on a deck of cards. Just throw that up.
So where are you guys from?
Venice.
Venice? Okay.
Seminole,
Seminole?
Point Beach.
Harmon Beach.
Spring Hill. We're a brand new unit, so I'm learning a lot here.
Excellent.
Good. And please, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please, we're here for you. I'm learning fundraising ideas right now, and that's why I'm going through this.
We're all from your island, you know that.
Cape Canaveral.
Cape Canaveral?
And Madeira Beach.
Ponte Vedra Beach.
So we're from all over the place.
We did the Derby too.
The Derby, we've done the Kentucky Derby. Did you get an idea?
It's a basket.
Baskets.
But when we do the big sale, we also do dog biscuits.
Yes,
What?
dog biscuit, that's a good one. Do you
Dog
make good money on it?
Yes.
Good.
What's the
Oh,
dog?
the biscuits.
Well, you bake them, I don't know, I've not done it, but.
They're
puppy dog.
There's recipes for
Recipes for dog biscuits.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
That's what I'm asking.
Whatever works, right? And if that works,
There are things that are,
Kathy, I
Or show me the money, I know it's for our general fund, but that's something that could be for,
It's same thing with cards. It's 3 cards stapled together. We do 3 cards stapled together, and then they call them out, and if you get those 3 cards in a row,
BMW.
you win the prize. That's a big thing for us out there.
We've done a brick of, similar to the lotto, but we've actually bought a brick of them, so a stack of them. Paid $200. At one time, we made $1,700 on it, so.
Yeah, because you don't know what's in them when you buy them, right?
And there were the $2 ones, so that's the amount we spent, so you're getting a stack of those lotto tickets, and then, like our first time, like I said, $1,700, it took no effort just to go up to people. And one of the things I will have to say is, for your fundraising to be successful, you need to be in that person's face. Don't expect they're gonna walk across the room to give you money. I mean, you go to each one and just say, oh, only $5, you could win. So that's how you can be successful.
And that is key.
The
It really
moose
is
does
key, 'cause
that.
we get a lot of times when we're doing our fundraisers, we'll get the, not right now. And we'll do several laps, and then we'll come back even before, and we're like, okay, this is the last call. Are you
Okay,
sure you
last
don't
chance to
want to
win.
get in
Yeah.
this?
Oh.
And then you get the, okay.
Hard face to say no.
Yeah, I know a lot of times, we'll be like, you wanna miss out on that? It's $5. And then, believe it or not, a lot of time, and my girls can attest, a lot of times, that person that sold
The
that last ticket that didn't want no part of any of that raffle. And you stick it in there and you roll it, and they win. And they won. How many times has that happened at our?
That happened Friday night to me.
And it's happened to
And
me
they
too.
pulled it, and she looked at me and she goes, you talked me into it, and I go, yeah, I did.
And it's one of those that they're like, oh my God! And it's like, see, aren't you glad that you spent that $5? It went for a good cause and you won. We do a lot of basket raffles that end up raising money. Right now we have a Girl State one that we have going on. I'm trying to think, last year, I'll share with you last year for our AEF, what we did last year, because I shared already the Baco State sale. And let me tell you, that is simple, it's easy, and it has made some money. And it's easy. Just take on the ladder. So last year what we did, obviously, things were a little different for us because we're a unit that we love fundraising. These girls, I will tell you, will take it to the next level when needed. They will raise money in whatever situation. And last year, our post had opened back up to the public in December. We are under construction right now. A year and what later, we are finally getting our post fixed. And we were like, what are we gonna do? Because usually every event, we have a breakdown. Okay, so January we have this fund, February we have this fund, March is our AEF fund. So there's a lot of us that lost everything. You know, everybody's kind of like, should we not do anything? No! We have to do something. We have to do something. So we ended up splitting with the post and got a band in that night, and we said, no matter what we were going to do, we were going to try our very best to raise money. So our auxiliary is known for shots of Jell-O. And the video that was presented last conference. The video that everybody was
Crying.
very emotional with. When they presented that video, when we were in conference, I mean, the feedback that we got from that. So I said, okay, you know what, we're gonna play this for our members because not all of our members are able to come to a conference or a convention or anything like that. So we played that video for them, and we took direct donations. We did 3 50/50s that night amongst selling Jell-O. So we raised in something that we thought we would not usually, you know, considering the situation, we didn't think that we were going to raise a whole lot of money. Our posts together raised $1,300 to be able to donate back when we still were in shambles. So it's possible. Anything is possible. Anything is possible if you put your mind to it. Okay, does anybody else have any other fundraising?
Does anybody else have trouble getting a time to do it in your post? I mean, sometimes we can't figure that out.
You know, we have a really good post. We all work together, and you know, right now the our SAL has a fundraiser along with our Girl State fundraiser, and there's no.
That's where we fall back. They don't want to let one unit do one fundraiser at a time, which hurts. And I don't know why you do that. But we are small.
Well, small and mighty. Right. Does anybody else have any comments, concerns, questions, any other fundraising ideas? The other one, like you said, another idea that I had, Pringles can, just like this template, print out, be the one to give one. Pass it around the bar, or canteen. Other than that, I want to thank you guys for your morning and coming and learning. Did everybody take away something today? That's
Yes.
most important.
Yes. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.